Have you ever just felt like totally overwhelmed by a problem?
Big or small? Yeah.
Like you just wish there was a little help from somewhere.
Like some divine intervention would be nice right about now.
Yeah. Like a little nudge in the right direction. It could be anything, really. Work stuff, family stuff.
Global events got you down.
Right. Today, we are diving into some ancient writing that tackles that exact feeling.
We're looking at 2 Kings chapter 6. It's surprising how relevant these old texts can be.
Seriously, we'll be focusing on a few stories from this chapter. There's a story about a lost axe head, and another one about a small group facing a whole army.
Oh, and an act of mercy toward enemies.
And also the consequences of going your own way instead of listening to guidance.
Think of these stories like snapshots, each one highlighting a key principle that can still help us today.
Yeah, and it won't be a boring lecture. We want to find the practical wisdom in these stories.
And see how these ancient accounts can give us a fresh perspective.
Maybe even help you rely on your faith more when things get tough, whatever your background.
Let's start with the story of the lost axe head. It seems like a small thing, but it has a big message.
All right, so there's this group called the Sons of the Prophets.
They're living together, and things are getting a little crowded, you know.
So they decide to build a bigger place. Head down to the Jordan River to get some wood.
Very practical, hands-on stuff.
One guy's chopping wood, and the axe head flies off the handle. It sinks right into the river.
Oof.
And the text makes sure to tell us it was borrowed.
That detail always gets me.
I know, right? Makes you think about responsibility and maybe even embarrassment.
Totally. It wasn't just a tool. It was borrowed. Like the responsibility. This loss was a big deal to him.
He's desperate. Elisha asks him where it fell. And then Elisha takes a piece of wood, throws it in the water.
And the iron axe head pops right back up.
Amazing. But it makes you think, why such a big reaction for a small problem?
Right. It's just an axe head. Not like they're facing an army or something.
I think it shows that even small problems can be fixed with help. No problem is too small.
You know what I mean? Like divine intervention isn't just for huge crises.
It can be for everyday stuff, too.
Right. Have you ever been frustrated by something that other people might think is small?
Like you lose an important file or something
Right.
breaks around the house.
It's a big deal to you at the time.
This story shows that even in those small frustrations, there might be a solution out there that we can't see.
Maybe it's bigger than us, you know?
Okay, let's move on to something with higher stakes.
Okay.
The king of Syria is fighting the king of Israel, and he keeps trying to launch surprise attacks.
Sneaky.
But every time the king of Israel knows what's coming, avoids the traps.
Must have been frustrating.
The Syrian king is furious. He's like, who is leaking my plans?
Yeah, I'd be mad too.
He thinks someone in his court is betraying him.
Makes sense.
But his advisors tell him it's Elisha, the prophet in Israel.
Whoa.
He seems to know the king's plans, even private conversations.
And how is that even possible?
So the Syrian king decides to capture Elisha, sends a huge army with horses and chariots to surround the city of Dothan. That's where Elisha is.
Wow. That escalated quickly.
I know. Now Elisha's servant wakes up early in the morning, sees this massive army around the city.
Oh, no.
He's terrified. He cries out, "Alas, my master, what are we going to do?"
Understandable.
I'd feel the same way, completely surrounded, no way out.
It's a normal human response. It looked hopeless.
Right, but Elisha is so calm, he has a different perspective.
How so?
He says, "Fear not. Those who are with us are more than those who are with them."
Powerful words.
Then Elisha prays for his servant, asks that the servant's eyes be open,
Yeah.
and the servant sees something amazing. The hills are full of horses and chariots of fire. A heavenly army is protecting them.
It's like shifting your focus. Don't just look at the problem. Look at who's on your side.
It's a powerful image. The threat is still there, but now there's this unseen reality that's even bigger.
Makes you think about those times in our lives when we face impossible situations.
At work or in our personal lives, we can get so focused on the problem that we feel totally alone.
For sure. But this story tells us to look beyond what we can see. To remember that there might be help we don't even know about.
It's about having faith even when things look impossible.
Exactly. Elisha's words, those who are with us are more than those who are with them. It doesn't mean the problem is small.
It means we have more help than we realize.
Right.
Now the story takes a turn. The Syrian army is getting closer.
Helpful.
Elisha prays again. This time he asks that the Syrian army be struck blind.
Blind.
Blind. And it happens.
So now what?
Then Elisha leads these blind soldiers right into Samaria, the capital of Israel.
Wait, What? I thought they were enemies.
They are.
So why is he helping them?
I don't know, but the king of Israel sees them. He's ready to fight.
I would be too.
He asks Elisha, "My father, should I attack them? Should I strike them down?"
Seems like a natural response.
Right. But Elisha says something totally unexpected. He tells him, "You must not strike them down. Would you strike down those you have captured with your sword and bow?
Whoa.
Set food and water before them, let them eat and drink and go back to their master."
That's mercy.
Total change of plans. Instead of revenge, Elisha wants to be kind to the enemy.
Kindness can really disrupt a cycle of conflict.
The king listens,
Hmm.
throws a huge feast for the Syrian army, then sends them home.
Yeah.
The result is amazing. The Bible says that the Syrian army never invaded Israel again.
Wow. So this act of kindness led to peace.
I know. The story shows that kindness can be powerful, even to your enemies. It can have surprising results.
It makes you think. Even when someone frustrates you or opposes you, what if you chose kindness instead?
Could that lead to peace?
Maybe.
But the chapter doesn't end there.
Oh.
Later, there's a terrible famine in Samaria. This happens because the Syrian king eventually returns.
Oh, no.
He lays siege to the city.
That's awful.
It gets really bad. Food is scarce. People are desperate.
It's a stark reminder that actions have consequences, even with divine help and mercy.
The famine happened because of the siege.
It shows what happens when we rely on temporary solutions instead of following guidance.
It reminds us that we need to stay connected to wisdom and guidance. Not just when things are bad, but always.
So in 2 Kings chapter 6, we see a lot of important themes.
We see that God cares about our needs, even the small ones.
We see that faith can change our perspective when we feel overwhelmed.
And we see that kindness can have a powerful effect even on our enemies.
We're also reminded that we need to consistently seek wisdom and guidance.
When we think about how these lessons apply to us today, it can strengthen our faith.
For sure. It reminds us that we're not alone in our struggles, no matter how big or small.
There's something bigger than us that cares for us.
These stories can help us trust more. They remind us that we're not alone, to be courageous and choose kindness.
They're not just old stories. They're principles for living with confidence and hope.
It's powerful stuff.
As we finish this deep dive into 2 Kings chapter 6,
Let's remember, even in our complicated modern world, these old stories can still teach us about God and how He's involved in our lives.
that's so true.
One last thing for you to think about. What's one area of your life where you could use one of these principles?
Maybe there's a small worry you can let go of.
Maybe you can face a fear with more courage knowing you have support.
Or maybe you can choose kindness in a tough relationship.
Think about how putting these ancient lessons into practice might change your understanding of things.
How it might make you aware of a power beyond yourself.
Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.